city volunteers held a fifth distribution in New Jersey, helping hurricane-affected residents. Uninvited tiny guests in your home may be a sign for you to start cleaning up your surroundings. Welcome to DaAi Headlines, I'm Hu Chiao. Thank you for tuning in. At the start of September, Hurricane Ida struck the east coast of the United States, causing much damage to New York and New Jersey. After a month, many affected residents are still unable to go home. Upon noticing their situation, Tzu Chi volunteers in New Jersey held 4 cash card distributions in different locations. Let's take a look. A month after Hurricane Ida, on the residential blocks of Elizabeth City, furniture and garbage are still piling up. As residents are worried about not being able to go home, Tzu Chi New Jersey chapter initiated its 5th distribution.
Sure that we use it before.
It's really big than the market you can find, and very thick, very warm. So it contains all the loves from all the world. Okay, so hope you can return your life normally soon. Okay.
Our best wishes, and we wish you to be well tomorrow. All right.
I'm well today.
Okay. I want you to stand up and then with us one day. Today you receive it, and tomorrow I want you to reach out your hand to give it to other people too.
Volunteers listened to disaster-affected residents as they expressed the helplessness after losing homes. An emotional outlet needed to cure affected residents.
I think it's wonderful the help that you give us today, so I appreciate that. We are suffering, but we'll be back, and then you need to be positive and, continue fighting.
I feel grateful, and I'm happy that you're able to help people like me in need. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and God bless you.
After October, temperature lowers down in the East Coast as governmental staff brought volunteers to visit and assist disaster-affected residents. Both parties hope to see affected residents return to their normal lives before the upcoming winter season. Tzu Chi volunteers in Australia, Perth, formed a sewing class. The original intention was to revive clothes thrown away, though after some time, class leader Li Xiaojing received a request from a friend working in a premature baby program as they need premature baby clothes and sleeping pads. The sewing class got to work and was happy to see people being helped. With the size of 2 palms, the baby clothes here, along with a sleeping pad, are made by Tzu Chi volunteers. These loving gifts are to be given to King Edward Memorial Hospital's premature baby.
In this hospital, the clothes for premature babies often go short of stock, and some will even be taken home by mothers. And because of the increase of babies, clothing stock is very limited. The clothes don't just provide warmth, it is also very important for the mothers who come to visit.
Due to the needs of a nurse, friend and Tzu Chi volunteer Li Xiaojing took on a task immediately, calling upon her friends to help.
Premature babies are too small, so everyone worked hard and worked very carefully. We hope that the blessing can accompany them as they grow so that they can return home soon.
Within 3 months, we have made many products for premature babies, and I hope that the babies can wear our handmade clothes and return home early.
The cloth-giving project, initiated by volunteers, represents motherly love. Each stitch on the clothes is a sincere blessing, hoping that premature babies can grow up and then return to their mother's arms soon. The local government offices strongly promotes tourism to the Thousand Island Regency of Indonesia and have added many attraction and selfie spots. Here's more.
About 108 kilometers away from Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia, lies the Thousand Island Regency, a special governing space of Jakarta. For many of the islanders living on the Thousand Island Regency, the current public facilities are no longer as inconvenient because the government has built additional tourism spots. The Thousand Island Regency has only one general hospital, which is located on one of the northern islands. However, each individually inhabited island has their own health center.
Ya, kalau Pulau Untung Jawa itu kan sebenarnya tombak daripada kabupaten. Jadi segala sesuatunya seperti ada perlombaan
In
baik
sports,
tingkat
Java
kabupaten
Island
maupun
is
tingkat
county
nasional,
level,
bahkan mewakili dari
and athletes from Jakarta are still in the top of the country and represent each time in national competitions. We have easy access to transportation. We can also take a speedboat, ferry, or boat from the harbor.
Terus yang kedua dari Kali Adem. Dari Kali Adem juga ada. Ada yang reguler, ada juga kapal kayu, ada juga kapal dari Dinas Perhubungan.
As a representative of the people of the southern regions on the islands, Angus says the biggest problem he's encountered while in office is transportation. When the wind is strong and the waves are high, marine transportation is quite risky. However, he says there is a lot of potential for tourism in the Thousand Island Regency. Jakarta Tourism and Creative Economy Bureau are looking to promote healthy tourism campaigns, which means every tourist can visit the islands and still feel safeguarded against the coronavirus.
Perbedaannya adalah karena kita dibatasi oleh laut ya dibatasi oleh geografis yaitu berupa lautan.
The difference is we're in the sea, so transportation isn't like that on land, which is convenient and fast.
Dalam waktu yang lebih cepat seperti di darat.
When we have to head to Jakarta, it becomes inconvenient.
Kita ada urusan ke daratan.
Even though transportation is easy, we are still restricted by the sea, and that's our main problem.
Lautnya. Walaupun transportasi laut sudah bagus ya, sudah mumpuni, tapi karena kita jarak dibatasi dengan lautan itu yang kira-kira itu jadi kendala utama. Kendalanya hanya waktu saja.
Unfortunately, ambulances are not available 24 hours a day, so the islanders' health is still troubled by that. It is hoped that this can also be improved in the future.
Although the pandemic has impacted a traditional bakery in Tangerang, reducing its daily business to half, the owner chose to operate as usual and send out excess bread to those in need.
The pandemic has had a huge impact on all walks of life, forcing some companies to close down unfortunately. However, for some companies with better adaptability, they have made new breakthroughs to maintain business. Among them is the traditional bakery in Tangerang City. The owner, Nohiyati, not only focuses on the profits, she also cares for the people around her. Since 2018, she started to run a bakery and share food with the needy people in the surrounding area every day, even though the pandemic has reduced the bakery's output to half. From making 3,000 pieces of bread to selling 500 to 2,000 pieces of bread a day, nevertheless, Lohiyati is still willing to help others because she believes that giving always can bring her blessings.
Motivasinya kan di dalam Al-Quran kan.
My motivation comes from the teachings of the Quran.
Jika kita berbisnis dengan Allah, insya Allah Allah tidak akan.
As long as we share for each other, Allah will definitely bless us. So we actively assist each other.
Kita memberikan sebelum kita mendapatkan rezeki.
In the end, Allah will give us endless blessings.
Sama Allah nih berbaik hati. Akhirnya Allah pun memberikan lebih dari itu.
Lahiyati, who is 46 years old, gives out excess bread to those in need around her every day. Apart from giving out bread, she also donates money to the local peasants and orphanages regularly. For her, sharing love can make her feel happier.
Dari kita berbagi itu ketenangan. Dua, kita nggak pernah ngerasa takut.
Giving makes me feel calm, and when we give, we never worry about not being able to pay the salaries of our employees.
Sampai saat ini.
Because we believe that Allah will definitely give us the best arrangements.
Untuk membangun ya ibaratnya.
Although life is difficult during the epidemic prevention period, we are still able to share for each other, all because of the grace of Allah.
Itu rahasia Allah gitu aja.
Although business is not as good as before the pandemic, Nurhiyati is very grateful that she can spend every day healthily and happily. She hopes that everyone can survive the pandemic and return to normal life soon.
Bug expert Tzu Chi is a renowned researcher in the insect field. For many years, her research alone discovered many new species, as some species are even named after her. She leads the team every day to observe bugs' habits and jokes about the team being a bug detective team. Tzu Chi also invites everyone to join her, hoping that people may understand insects more and learn how to coexist with insects. Have you ever paid attention to the rectangular-shaped dust formations at home?
If you closely observe the cloth moth at home, you will find that they love to eat organic material and hair. They will even eat cobwebs. When there's a place with a lot of dust, there will be a lot of cloth moth living there because there's a lot of food.
The life of a clothes moth starts by crawling during its early phase. After 3 months, it breaks free as it morphs into a moth. The clothes moth also has a talent, that is, to pick up any available material they see to build a nest.
With an available environment, the cloth moth will use anything to build its nest. They will pick up the dust or hair, and we have also seen them pick up tiny scraps of metal.
Out of curiosity, researchers lightly touched a bug's nest as there are human hair inside. Normally, cautious clothes moth will store food where researchers can observe. Once researchers dug around the nest, the surprised moth started to find ways to escape.
Look, it's starting to find place for cover.
Following the bug's actions, the researcher put a clothes moth into a container filled with glitter. Within an hour, the clothes moth built a new home. Looking at it picking and spinning, it's like a clothes designer making clothes.
We thought if a bug uses anything to build, what if we gave them special objects? Besides giving it glitter, we also gave them insect excrement, so dust and coffee grounds.
The shiny cave here is named the Money Lover. Bugs here wrap themselves in gold-colored scraps, and if a clothes moth is handled with insect excrements, they will still cover themselves in it. It is safe to say that these insects are born with artistic talents.
Using the golden and purple color, we joke about the bug being too attracted to money, and after placing the objects in, the bug actually wraps itself in and looks very beautiful.
Walking to Tzu Meiling's office in Taichung's National Museum of Natural Science is like walking into a CSI crime scene. She cultivates forward fly larvae and collects insect excrement. Everyone in the lab here will collect all sorts of evidence in order to study bugs. Silverfish often hides at dark corners, displaying a dark and cunning feel to many, yet experts argue that silverfish is actually an elegant and charismatic creature. Because they love to live in books and pages, they also can live in gaps, papers, or piles of paper. Under the microscope, the gray silverfish expresses elegance through its silvery coating. The other type of silverfish, Tenolipsima, loves to chew on paper, as people often refer to it as book louse. They can eat toilet paper. They can also eat old books. And if the book is older, the papers in it have higher proportion of fiber, which reduces the issue of dying. So actually, the older the paper, the better it is for silverfish. Silverfish can live up to 300 days without eating anything, and if that doesn't surprise you, you'll be amazed to learn that silverfish relies very little on water consumption. Because there are actually no clear research papers that proves this, but at least when we raise silverfish, we don't have to feed them water because they can live without it in any environment with sufficient moisture.
These books here are over 100 years old. Some are nearly 100 years old.
Talking about bug stories, expert Tzu Meiling is very excited as she shared this ancient book that has been devoured by bugs.
The Phascastolus soteris loves the book. It creates multiple holes on different pages.
The holes in the book are done by the infamous Phascastolus satiri, but what's more interesting is that the scraps produced by the insect becomes food for other insects. The interconnected ecosystem is made possible just by one book.
We use a microscope to see what bugs are inside, and besides seeing the Phascastolus satiri, we also saw larvae, that is parasitoid wraps. Yes, besides this, we also observe mice and book loose.
Though the world of insects is filled with surprises, expert Tzu Meiling still receives a lot of mail talking about bugs creating problems at home. she has to now become a spiritual teacher and an environment counselor in order to help others.
Just like being with another person, you have to talk to him. You will also understand his situation. This is the same when applied to knowing bugs. When you understand bugs more, you will know why do they exist, and you will get to know their specialties. Actually, you will finally understand why bugs exist in the world.
In order to reduce bugs living around us, we must reduce the available living space suitable for bugs. But expert DaAi meetings suggest every life has its very own meaning, and we must learn how to coexist before making a decision. In the face of climate change and goal of net zero carbon emissions by 2050, it may be necessary to start with cities, because city carbon emissions account for 70% of total carbon emissions. Taiwan's 6 major cities show similar problems due to transportation and industry. Taipei and Kaohsiung in particular need to develop public policies to inspire citizens' awareness to reduce carbon emissions.
When the green light appears, cars and motorcycles all rush forward. Statistics show that 70% of global greenhouse gas emissions come from cities. To achieve the goal of net zero carbon emissions by 2050, cities must take action.
The advantage of cities is that they can make flexible policies and also adapt to local conditions. Like transportation and buildings in some cities are managed by the government and can be more complementary to the central government policies.
In Taiwan, the average carbon emissions per capita in the 6 major cities sees Taoyuan City in the lead with 14.36 metric tons, followed by Taichung and Tainan, and Taipei City is the lowest with 4.7 metric tons, but these are still higher than the neighboring East Asian cities like Seoul and Tokyo.
The circular MRT line is listed as a municipal priority. The MRT will all be linked together eventually. We hope that by 2030, green transportation in Taipei City will reach 70%, with all 3,500 buses becoming electric buses.
Actively promoting green transportation includes Taipei, allowing electric scooters to be parked on the street for free. As for Kaohsiung City, which is dominated by petrochemical and steel industries, Taipower extended load reduction of coal-fired power plants during the autumn and winter air pollution season.
From mid-September to mid-April of the following year, the coal-fired power plant will take load reduction measures. 39 companies are expected to be included. Major carbon emitters will participate in this way, as we estimate every year there will be a decrease of 820,000 tons of carbon emissions.
Starting from transportation and industry, the 2 major sources of air pollution, a number of government policies will promote energy conservation and carbon reduction, which also needs to be adopted and supported by local citizens.
Mr. Lin, who lives in Keelong's Nannuan, has been raising 5 children for a long time. This year, due to the pandemic, the chances of employment have been reduced. His children cannot pay their tuition fees. Tzu Chi assisted them in applying for tuition subsidies and New Shoot scholarship, relieving some of the financial burden in this family.
Xiaojing happily showed the volunteers the medals she got in sports competitions. She and her sister are both the Tzu New Shoot scholarships recipients this year. Although the scholarship has yet to receive, both of them have already decided how to use it.
My dad needs to go to work and may not have time, so I will take the money and buy it myself.
When I got the scholarship money, I will give some to my dad first, because our family is suffering financial difficulties. So I will first give some money to my dad to settle the fees. Then for the rest, I will use it buy some necessities at home.
Mr. Lin, who lives in Keelong Nannuan, has 5 children. He only does odd jobs to support his family. He reached out to Tzu Chi 12 years ago. Volunteers have been caring for him all the way, allowing him to have courage to work hard for this family.
I have too many children. I have no way to meet their needs, but Tzu Chi has given us a lot. Every time you guys come, I'll remind myself to keep working hard. I must not fall down. I can't let Tzu Chi volunteers down.
To help the children study normally during the pandemic, volunteers also donated laptops to them and often gave them family-like care.
Because children also know their family situation and their dad's hard work, so all of them have their own plan. They want to study hard and learn more so that they can get a better job in the future. Actually, caring for this family makes us really happy and touched.
The volunteers and children hug each other to end a home visit, conveying not only love, but also the power to move towards a promising future.
In order to allow students from disadvantaged families to keep up with online classes, Tzu Chi Malacca chapter launched the Enabling Our Children Continue Their Education program to collect used computers from the public, bring students back on track.
Volunteers carefully inspect the assembled computer to ensure that everything is functioning properly, so that the second-hand computer can be put to good use again.
Some kind-hearted people may want to donate their old computers to us, yet they may not be familiar with their computer situation. They send the computer here. Of course, we are obliged to ensure that it is functional before giving it to the beneficiary.
Under the impact of the pandemic, it is normal for students to take online classes at home. But for disadvantaged families, computers can be a kind of burden. The Tzu Chi Malacca chapter launches the Enabling Our Children Continue Their Education program to collect used computers.
Volunteers will check to see if any household lacks computers and then report to us. Many children were very happy when they got the computers.
Some of the computers are completely broken, but their accessories can still be remodeled and used. They can be put together and assembled into a working computer. We hope that these second-hand computers can give the disadvantaged children a chance to receive education.
Tzu Chi recycles second-hand computers for disadvantaged children to take online classes. Since the old computer is not used anyway, why not donate it to Tzu Chi? Volunteers can reassemble and repair it for the children to use.
Volunteers' skillful hands allow the second-hand computers to be used again, so that disadvantaged children can learn at home without being left behind.
As the coronavirus situation slows down in England, Tzu Chi London Humanitarian Academy returns to in-person learning after a year of online classes. The students are extremely happy to be able to see their classmates in person.
Picking up their calligraphy pen or even setting up their chess pieces seems extra fun because it's in-person learning, as Tzu Chi Academy in London has finally ended their virtual classes in September.
We like the online learning, but we prefer face-to-face. It's a chance for the kids to meet each other, and I think the kids prefer to have.
I'm happy to see the students come back, especially the returning students. I feel the kids are glad to return as well, because it's just not the same as attending computer lesson versus in-person lessons.
The Chinese class held once a week is highly anticipated by the students.
Everyone is happy to be able to see each other once more. We will continue to educate the students to be well-versed in Mandarin.
It is nice to return to the school campus, and the students value their time together.
Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital collaborated with Taiwan Catholic Foundation of Alzheimer's Disease and Related Dementia, promoting dementia awareness to the public. This time, 11 community service points joined in to bring seniors playful activities. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.